My boyfriend proposed in public, then whispered the ring was meant for someone else. He knelt in front of a crowd, ring in hand, but what he whispered in my ear shattered everything. It was my birthday. A warm Friday evening in June. My boyfriend, Ryan, had asked me to dress up, said we were going out, something special. He sounded nervous. I thought it was sweet. I wore my favorite red dress. He picked me up with flowers, kissed my cheek. And held my hand a little tighter than usual. He drove us downtown. To a rooftop restaurant I'd always wanted to visit. There were fairy lights. Live music, soft breeze. It felt like a scene from a movie. The waiter brought champagne before we even ordered. That was the first clue. Then I noticed Ryan, looking around, checking his phone. Wiping his palms on his pants. Are you okay? I asked. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Yeah, just that. Excited. I thought maybe he had a surprise dessert planned, or a gift. I had no idea what was coming. After dinner, he stood up suddenly, walked to my side of the table, then got down on one knee. The room gasped. People turned to look. Some pulled out their phones. Music. Stopped. I froze. Heart racing, hands shaken. He pulled out a small black box, opened it. Inside was a stunning ring. Diamond. Sparkling under the lights. Then he said the words. Loudly. Clearly. So everyone could hear. Emma, will you marry me? The crowd cheered. Some clapped. Someone yelled, say yes. I looked at him. His smile was wide, but his eyes weren't steady. They looked scared. Still, my heart was beating too fast to think. So I nodded. Double quotes, yes, I whispered. People clapped again, louder this time. A waiter brought cake. Someone played a violin. Ryan stood and hugged me, then leaned close to my ear and whispered, the ring was meant for someone else. Everything froze. My blood went cold. What? He pulled back, still smiling for the crowd. But his eyes were full of panic. He squeezed my hand. Double quotes, please. Just play along. The room spun. I smiled like a robot. Took pictures. Held his arm. But inside, my heart was breaking. Later in the car, I asked again, what did you say? He didn't answer right away. Just drove, hands tight on the wheel. Finally, he spoke. I wasn't supposed to use that ring. I blinked. What are you talking about, Ryan? He sighed. It wasn't for you. I felt like throwing up. Then who was it for? He glanced at me. Mouth tight. Then said the name that shattered my soul. Madison. His ex. The one he told me was long gone. The one who moved to Chicago. The one he barely remembered. I stared at him. Speechless. He kept talking. I bought it months ago. I was going to propose. But she left. It didn't happen. So why did you use it for me? Because everyone kept asking would I propose. Your mom, your friends. I panicked. I was shaking. So you didn't want to marry me? I do, he said too quickly, but his voice cracked. I just wasn't ready. I didn't say another word the whole ride home. When he dropped me off, I gave him back them. Ren, told him I needed time. He begged me to keep it. Said it was just a mistake. That it didn't mean he didn't love me. But I walked away. That night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, trying to make sense of it all, trying not to cry, but failing. Miserably. The next morning, there were flowers at my door. No card. But I knew they were from him. My phone had missed calls. VOICEMIL. As that text. Double quotes, please Emma. It was stupid, but I panicked. I love you. We can talk. But I didn't reply. My friend Claire came over. She brought coffee, listened to everything, didn't say a word until I was done. Then she looked me in the eye and said, you don't marry someone who proposes with a recycled ring and a lie. She was right, but my heart didn't want to believe it. 3 days passed. Then I got a message, not from Ryan, from Madison. Hi Emma, I'm sorry to message you like this. I didn't know Ryan actually proposed. I only found out because he sent me a long email yesterday. He told me everything about the ring, about you. I just wanted you to know, I didn't ask him to do any of that. I'm engaged to someone else. I haven't spoken to Ryan in over a year. I'm sorry he did that to you. I didn't know how to feel, relieved, angry, embarrassed, all of it. I sat with that message for a long time. Then I called Ryan. He picked up on the first ring. Emma, you lied to me. I didn't. Madison sent me your email. Silence. I just wanted to fix things. With a lie? No, he whispered, with you. I hung up. A week passed. Then another. People kept asking how wedding plans were going. I didn't have answers. Then Ryan showed up at my job. Flowers. Again. Another box. Not a ring. Just a note inside. I bought this one for you, not for her. Just you. I'm sorry. Inside the box was a necklace. Tiny. Simple. My birthstone. He Remembered Dad. He stood there, looking broken. I love you, he said softly. Then why didn't you act like it? I was scared, so was I. He didn't try to touch me. Didn't beg, just said, if there's still a chance, I'll wait. Then he walked away. Part of me wanted to run after him. Part of me wanted to scream. All of me felt torn. That night I put the necklace on. It felt heavy, but not in a bad way. Claire called. You okay? I don't know. You still love him? I think so. Then ask yourself one thing. What? Do you trust him? I didn't answer, because I didn't know, not yet. A full month passed. Ryan didn't message me again. Not a text. Not a call. He kept his promise. He waited. Meanwhile, I tried to move forward, but it wasn't easy. Everywhere I went, people kept asking, when's the wedding? How did he propose? Show me the ring. And I had to fake smiles, fake stories, fake everything. I even took off work for a few days, told them I had a family emergency. In reality, I just couldn't face anyone anymore. Not yet. One morning, I woke up early. Made tea, sat by the window. Watched the sunrise. And whispered out loud, do I still love him? The answer? Yes, but love wasn't enough anymore. I needed trust. I needed truth. Claire called later that day. Said something simple. But powerful. Loving someone who broke you doesn't make you weak. I nodded slowly. Then said the words I'd been afraid of. I want to talk to him. That evening, I walked to the park. The same one where Ryan first told me he loved me. I texted him just one sentence. Meet me at the bench. If you're still waiting. 15 minutes later, he appeared. No flowers. No ring box. No nervous act. Just Ryan, plain. Raw. Real. He sat beside me. Didn't speak right away. Then softly asked, why now? Because I needed time, I said. To think, to heal. He nodded. Then whispered, I'm sorry, I know. But that doesn't erase what you did. I don't want to erase it, he said. I want to fix it. You can't fix trust overnight, I know. But I'm here. Why? Because even after everything, I still want you. My eyes filled with tears, and I asked the question I'd been holding inside. Was she ever really gone? From your heart? He looked down. Then up. And said, she left. But I didn't let her go. Until when? Until I saw your face when I whispered that awful thing. That answer cut me deep, because it was honest. Painfully honest. But still I appreciated the truth. I'm not the kind of girl you settle for, I said. I know. Then I'm not your second choice. You never were, he said quickly. The ring said otherwise. I bought that ring during a time I thought Madison was the one. But I kept it after she left. Because part of me still believed in that dream, not her, just a dream. And I wasn't part of that dream. He leaned closer. You became the dream. I just didn't realize it fast enough. I stayed quiet, let the words settle, let the pain breathe. Then I said, you hurt me. Deeply. I know, but I still love you. His eyes lit up, and that scares me. His smile faded. But maybe it should, he whispered, because real love is scary. We sat in silence. Two broken people, one unfinished story. Then I stood up. I'm not ready to forgive you. He nodded, but I'm not done with you either. His eyes widened. I'm willing to see where this goes. You are, but no lies. No hiding, no recycled rings. He laughed softly. Never again. I didn't hold his hand, didn't hug him. Just walked with him. Side by side. Back to my apartment. He didn't come inside. Just stood at the door. Can I hug you? He asked. I nodded. His arms wrapped around me like home, but not like before. This time, there were cracks, and sometimes cracks let the light in. Over the next few weeks, we started over. Slowly. Coffee dates. Walks. No pressure. No labels. Just it. Rebuilding. People were confused, some supportive, others judgmental. Claire pulled me aside one day and said, if you're doing this, just promise me one thing. What? Don't shrink yourself to forgive him. I won't. Good, because you're worth the truth. Ryan started therapy on his own. Told me he needed to understand why he always messed things up, why he used lies to protect feelings. Instead of facing the truth, I respected that. It showed effort, not perfection, but growth. He stopped mentioning marriage, stopped trying to win me back. Just showed up. Every day. Patient. Present. Quietly, making space for me to heal. One day, he brought a box, not a ring, just memories. Inside, movie tickets from our first date, a Polaroid from our first vacation, a note I wrote him on our 6-month anniversary, and at the bottom, the necklace he gave me after the proposal. I want you to have these, he said. They're not gifts. They're reminders of what was real, what's still real. I took the box. Held it for a long time, then looked up and asked, why did you keep all this? Because even when I was confused, I never stopped loving you. And finally, I believed him. Months passed, seasons changed, we moved slower than most couples, and that was okay. That we weren't chasing timelines, we were building trust from the ground up. That then one afternoon, I came home to find a letter on my pillow, not a proposal, just a promise. I don't know if you'll ever marry me, but I do know this: I'll spend every day proving I'm worthy of that chance. And if you never give it, I'll still love you anyway. I cried, the kind of cry that comes from release. From finally knowing you're safe. That night I kissed him first. Told him I was ready for more, for us. For a future. Not because he begged, not because he waited, but because I chose him. Fully. A year later, he proposed again. In our living room. Just us. No crowd. No recycled rings. This time, he had a new one, custom made. Engraved inside, for you, only you. I said yes, not because I was expected to. Not because of pressure, but because it was real this time. All of it. We didn't plan a big wedding, just close friends. Family. Joyful and quiet. And when the officiant asked if I took him as my husband, smiled through tears. And whispered, yes, because now I finally trust you. Marriage changed us. Not in big, flashy ways, but in the quiet ones. The way we held hands longer, laughed louder, talked deeper. There was trust, now. Real trust, the kind that took time to rebuild, but it was solid. We moved into a small house outside the city, painted the walls ourselves, argued over curtain colors, made up over pizza and red wine. Every corner of that house held a story, a memory, a reminder that we chose each other again and again. One night, I found Ryan sitting on the floor of our bedroom, holding the same box he once gave me, the one filled with old memories. He looked up surprised. I was just thinking about how close I came to losing you. I sat beside him, and yet here we are. He smiled, but I still hate myself for that day. I know, I said, but I forgave you. You need to forgive you too. He nodded. Took a deep breath. And for the first time, let go of the guilt. We weren't perfect. No couple is, but we learned how to fight better. How to listen harder, how to apologize faster. We had rules. No walking out. No yelling. No silent treatment. Just honesty, even when it hurt. Especially then. One morning, I woke up feeling off. Lightheaded. Nauseous. Tired all day. I didn't think much of it. Blamed it on stress. Or maybe bad takeout. But then a week passed. Then two. Then I realized I was late. Very late. I bought a test. Stared at the little screen. Prayed it wasn't broken. Then saw it. 2 lines. Positive. I sat in the bathroom. Silent. Frozen. Then I started to cry. Not from fear, but from something deeper. Something I couldn't explain. Ryan found me 20 minutes later. I held up a test. Didn't say a word. He blinked. Then slowly sat down next to me. Tears filled his eyes. Are you okay? He asked. I nodded. You? He laughed. I'm scared out of my mind. Me too. Then we cried together, and laughed. And held each other. The next few weeks were a blur. Doctor appointments, prenatal, vitamins. Name lists. We didn't tell anyone. At first. Not until the second trimester. We wanted to keep it just ours for something sacred, something private. When we finally told Claire, she screamed and cried, and hugged me until I couldn't breathe. Then she said, you're going to be an amazing mom. I already know it. I smiled, because for the first time in my life I believed it. Ryan was protective. Sweet. Overly cautious. He Googled everything, rubbed my feet every night, talked to my belly like she could hear him, because yes, we were having a girl. We decided on the name Ivy. Simple. Strong. Gentle. Just like I hoped she would be. As Ivy grew, so did our love. We decorated the nursery in soft greens and whites. Ryan built the crib himself, cursed a lot during it, but smiled the whole time. One night, I caught him sitting in the nursery. Just staring at the crib. I leaned on the doorway. You okay? He nodded slowly. I just never thought I'd get here. Where's here? Peace. It hit me then, how much we'd survived. A public proposal gone wrong, a betrayal, a broken engagement. And yet somehow, we found our way back. Ivy was born in early spring. The moment I held her, I forgot every pain. Every fear she had. Ryan's nose. My eyes, a scream that could wake the neighbors, but a calmness in her stare that melted. And Ryan held her like she was made of glass, whispered, she's perfect. And I whispered back, so are we. The first few weeks were chaos. No sleep. Crying, from all 3 of us. Late night feedings. But also soft lullabies. Tiny hands wrapped around our fingers. Her first smile. Our first picture as 3. Claire became her godmother, spoiled her rotten, showed up with diapers, and coffee and love. We couldn't have done it without her. Ryan started writing letters to Ivy, one every month. He kept them in a folder, said he'd give them to her when she turned 18. First one said, "You won't remember these days, but they're the most important of my life." I wrote letters too, but not just to Ivy. To myself, to remind me of the journey, to never forget where I started, and how far I'd come. When Ivy turned 1, we threw a small party. Just close friends, family, lots of cake. Ryan stood up to give a toast, and sighed. People think love is about the big moments, proposals, the weddings, the babies. But I think it's about choosing each other every single day, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. I cried, so did Claire, so did half the room. After the party, Ryan and I sat outside, watching Ivy sleep on the baby monitor. The stars were bright, the air cool. He reached for my hand and said, "I still think about that night." The rooftop? He nodded. When I whispered something that broke you. And now I whisper things that heal you. I leaned my head on his shoulder, whispered back, "Thank you for not giving up." He kissed my forehead, and whispered, "Thank you for letting me try again." And just like that, the final piece fell into place. The girl who once cried in silence now smiled in peace. The man who once proposed with a lie now built a life on truth. And the baby born from a broken past became the hope of our future. 2 years later, life was peaceful. Ivy was talking, walking, singing her ABCs to the dog. Our house was never quiet. And I loved that. Ryan got a promotion at work. I started a part-time photography business from home. Our days were full of messes, kisses, and small victories. We had everything I once prayed for, but peace is fragile. And sometimes, life tested that. It started small. Ryan working late, missing dinner, coming home tired. First, I thought nothing of it, just stressed. I told myself, new position pressure. But then he started checking his phone more, smiling at texts he didn't show me. And suddenly, I wasn't so sure. One night, Ivy spilled water on his phone. He rushed to grab it, wiped it like it was gold. Didn't even care that she was crying. That wasn't like him. My stomach turned. My hands shook, but I said nothing. The next day, while he showered, his phone buzzed on the nightstand. A name popped up I didn't recognize. Lana. My heart stopped. I stared at it. Froze. But didn't open it. I didn't want to become that person. The one who snoops, the one who breaks trust to protect it. When he came out, he saw the phone in my hand. We locked eyes, and suddenly, I didn't need to ask. His face said it all. "Who's Lana?" Silence. Then, "She's someone I've been mentoring." Mentoring? He nodded too fast. But his eyes shifted, avoided mine. "You're lying." "No, Ryan." He sighed. "She's new at the company. She texts for help sometimes. That's all." "Why does she have a heart next to her name?" He swallowed. "I don't know, it just came like that." I laughed, not because it was funny, but because it was ridiculous. He didn't cheat, but he wasn't honest either, and that hurt more than I expected. That night, I didn't sleep beside him. I curled up in Ivy's room. Held her tiny hand, tried not to cry. The next morning, he looked broken. Dark circles. Pale face, tears in his eyes. Whispered, "Please don't leave." I didn't, not right away, but I didn't forgive either. Needed time. Again. He offered to delete her number. He did it in front of me. He offered to go to therapy. I told him he should go for himself, not just for me. He agreed. Weeks passed. Then, months. The tension faded slowly, but I couldn't shake the fear. What if it happened again? What if he stopped choosing me? What if love wasn't enough this time? One evening, Claire visited. We sat on the porch. I told her everything. She listened, then said, "You can love someone and still draw a line." I nodded. Double quotes. "Do you think I'm a fool for staying?" She looked me in the eyes. "No, I think you're brave." That night, Ryan and I truly talked. No walls. No defenses. "I didn't cheat," he said. "I know. But I still broke your trust." "Yes, I think. Part of me still doesn't believe I deserve this life." That shattered me, because I knew that feeling. The fear of ruining something good. Of messing up what you love. "I'm scared too," I admitted. He reached for my hand. "We fix this? Together." So we started again, another restart. Another. Climbed out. We made rules. No secrets, no late night messages. Weekly check-ins. Honesty before comfort, and it worked out slowly. One Saturday, he surprised me. Not with flowers. Not with jewelry, but with a date. A babysitter. A drive to the beach. Just us. We walked by the shore. Held hands like teenagers. Talked about the past without flinching. He turned to me and said, "You've always been my choice, even when I was too stupid to show it." I smiled, not because I believed everything was perfect, but because I believed he meant it. Years went by. Ivy grew up fast. Started preschool, that made friends. Learned to ride a bike. We framed her art, that sang. With her at bedtime, told her stories that ended with. And they never gave up on each other. Because that was our story, too. Messy. Raw. Full of choosing each other. Over and over. Then something happened. Something I didn't expect. I found out. I was pregnant again. We weren't trying. We weren't planning. But life had a way of surprising us. Ryan cried when I told him. Held my face and whispered, "Thank you for this second miracle." We told Ivy. She jumped up and down. Said, "I hope it's a puppy." We laughed. It was a boy. We named him Noah. He was calm. Gentle. Loved music. Always smiled when Ivy talked to him. The night he was born, Ryan kissed my forehead and said, "I never thought my life would turn out like this." I whispered, "Me neither." But I was grateful it did. Sometimes when both kids were asleep, I'd sit on the porch. Watch the stars. And think about that rooftop night. The crowd. The ring. The whisper that broke everything. And then I'd look back. Inside. At the man making bottles. At the little girl painting on the floor. At the baby cooing in his crib. And I'd whisper to myself, "Thank God it broke. Because now it's real." The house was never quiet anymore. Noah was crawling. Ivy was singing. Ryan was chasing them both around the living room. Laughter echoed off the walls like music. Sometimes, I stood in the doorway and just watched. Not saying anything, just breathing it in. Because this was the life I never thought I'd have. But peace never stays perfect forever. And I could feel something shifting. Ryan was distracted again, not like before. He wasn't hiding anything. He was distant, quiet, tired, late at night. I heard him downstairs, typing, sometimes talking on the phone. Didn't want to ask at first. Didn't want to assume. But the old fear returned. So I asked, "What's going on?" He looked up, guilt in his eyes, but not the guilty kind. The overwhelmed kind. He sighed. "I didn't want to worry you." "Worry me about what?" "I lost my job." My stomach dropped. He rubbed his hands through his hair. 2 weeks ago. They downsized the entire department. I sat beside him. "You should have told me. I wanted to figure it out first. Before you panicked." I shook my head. "Ryan, we promised. No secrets, even if the truth sucks." He nodded. Tears in his eyes. "I'm scared, so am I." He leaned his head on my shoulder. "I didn't want to let you down again." I kissed his forehead. "You didn't. You're here, you're honest. That's enough." We cut back on spending. Canceled subscriptions. Paused vacation plans. Ryan started freelancing from home. Picked up more photography work. We made it work. Together. Ivy didn't notice much. She still danced around in fairy wings. Still told her baby brother bedtime stories in a blanket fort. Noah giggled every time she spoke, even when he didn't understand a word. There were hard nights. Nights where I cried quietly in the bathroom. Where Ryan stared at the ceiling in silence. But those moments never lasted long. We always circled back, always came back to love. One afternoon, I got a message on Facebook. From an old coworker. It read, "Hey Emma, this might sound strange, but I saw Madison the other day. She mentioned she ran into Ryan at a coffee shop. Just wanted to check in and see how you're doing." Madison. Her. The girl the ring was meant for. The girl we never spoke about anymore. I stared at the message. Then at the screen. Then at Ryan. He was feeding Noah a bottle, making airplane sounds. He looked calm. Normal. Happy. But I had to ask, "Did you see Madison recently?" He froze. Then slowly turned to me. Double quotes. "Yes." I blinked. He continued. 2 weeks ago, just after I lost my job. I was walking out of an interview. She was there. Same cafe. We talked for maybe 5 minutes. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because I knew it didn't matter. And I didn't want to bring her name back into this house." I looked at him. Hard. Searching for cracks. Searching for anything. I saw no lies. Just shame. Not for what happened, but for hiding it, even briefly. "Next time," I said softly. "Tell me." "I will." We didn't fight. Didn't yell. We just faced it. And moved forward. That was the difference now. Before that secret would have broken us. Now it only reminded us how far we'd come. Ryan started cooking more. Taught Ivy how to crack eggs without shell bits. Noah started saying words. Mama, up? His little voice melted everything. Even exhaustion. Claire came over one weekend. Watched the kids while Ryan and I went on a walk. Just the two of us. No strollers. No snacks. Just hands held tight in silence. We sat on a bench under the same tree he once proposed beside. I looked at him and said, "Do you ever regret it?" "The rooftop?" "Yeah. The ring. The lie. All of it." He thought for a moment, then said, "No, I hate what I did. But if it didn't happen, we wouldn't be here." I nodded. Because I agreed. Pain had a way of building strong foundations, if you let it. He pulled something from his pocket, a folded paper, worn edges. I wrote something, just for you. He handed it to me. Inside was a note. It read, to the woman I broke, who still chose to heal beside me. To the mother of my children, whose laughter rebuilt my hope. To the love I never deserved, but now fight every day to be worthy of. Thank you for staying. I cried softly. Then kissed him. Thank you for becoming the man I always hoped you'd be. Life didn't slow down, but we did. We made more time. More dinners together. More slow mornings. More bedtime stories. One evening, Ivy asked me, Mommy, why do you and Daddy always kiss in the kitchen? I laughed. Because we're still in love. She grinned. Even after you got mad that one time, especially after Noah tried to copy us. Walked around the house, kissing the air and yelling, love. We couldn't stop laughing. Years passed. Ivy started elementary school. Noah grew into a curious toddler. Ryan found work again. Better this time, less stress, more time at home. I expanded my photography business. Started booking weddings. Engagements. Maternity shoots. Sometimes I'd stand behind the camera and remember the rooftop. The whisper, the hurt. But then I'd look at Ryan playing with the kids nearby and know that girl from years ago wouldn't recognize this life, but she'd be proud. One of my clients asked me once, how did you know your husband was the one? I paused. Then answered honestly, I didn't, not right away. But I knew he was the one when he stopped trying to be perfect and started being real. Because love isn't about perfection. It's about showing up, even after you fail, especially then. Ryan failed me once. Badly. But he never stopped showing up after, and neither did I. We kept choosing each other, even when life tested us. Even when old names resurfaced, even when we broke again, because each time we came back stronger. Not all stories start the right way. Some start with pain. Mistakes. Regret. But it's not about how it starts. It's about whether the ending was worth surviving for. And this one? It absolutely was. Years passed. So many. I lost count. Ivy was 10 now. Noah just turned 7. Ryan and I, still together. Still growing, still trying. Not every day was magical. But every day mattered. Because love isn't built in fireworks. It's built in small things, like making coffee the way they like it. Or folding the laundry without being asked. Or simply holding hands during hard news. I kept taking photos. Weddings. First birthdays. Anniversaries. And every time I snapped a couple in love, I felt proud. Because I knew what love really looked like, not the Instagram kind, but the kind that survives storms. One spring morning, Ivy asked me the question I knew would come one day. We were sitting in the backyard. She had just watched our wedding video. She looked thoughtful, then asked, Mom, why do people say Daddy hurt you before you got married? I froze. She didn't ask it to accuse. She asked because she wanted to understand. So I told her the truth. In pieces. In kid words. I loved Daddy. But before we got married, he made a mistake. He gave me a ring that wasn't meant for me. And he hurt my feelings. Did you cry? Yes, a lot. Then why did you still marry him? I smiled. Because he changed. He learned. And he showed me he was worth another chance. She looked down. Then said, I think that's really brave. And suddenly I knew she was watching us. Every day, learning love, not just through hugs and bedtime stories, but through how we forgave, how we stayed, how we rebuilt. Later that night, I told Ryan about our conversation. He got quiet, then said, she makes someone a better partner one day because of you. Because of us. I corrected. Noah was different. Softer. More sensitive. He asked deep questions. One night, he asked, why do grown-ups fight if they love each other? And I told him, because sometimes love doesn't stop you from being scared, or wrong, or angry, but if it's real, it brings you back. He nodded like he understood. Then hugged me tight. Our family grew in love. In stories. In laughter. Ryan published a book, a memoir. He called it The Ring That Broke Us. I cried when I read it, because every word felt like a wound that healed. He dedicated it to me. To Emma, the girl I hurt. The woman who rebuilt me. The mother of my hope. The book became popular. He got invited to speak on podcasts, on panels. About trust. About honesty. About love that almost didn't survive. People asked him, why share something so painful? He answered, because someone out there is standing on a rooftop right now, holding the wrong ring, about to destroy everything. Maybe my story will stop them. I was proud. Of him. Of us. Of our journey. One evening, he asked me if I regretted anything. I thought about it. Then answered, I regret not walking away sooner. Not because I didn't want to come back, but because I needed space to know my own worth. He nodded. I regret hurting you. I'd undo it all if I could. I wouldn't, I said. He looked shocked. I continued, because without it, we'd have a different life. And I love this one. Years kept passing. Noah got into music. Ivy started writing. She even wrote a short story called The Girl Who Got the Wrong Ring. It won a school contest that the teacher called me. Said it was deep for a child. I just smiled, because pain makes writers early. But love makes them honest. Our family became that story people whispered about. They almost didn't make it couple, but we were okay with that, because what mattered was we made it. On our 10th anniversary, Ryan took me back to the rooftop restaurant. It was remodeled, now brighter, more modern, but I remembered every detail. Where we sat, where he knelt, where he whispered the words that changed everything. He looked at me across the table, said, I still think about that night. I do too. Do you hate it? I paused. Double quotes. No, I think it saved us. After dinner, he handed me a box. I rolled my eyes playfully. No more rings, Ryan, he laughed. Open it. Inside was a gold bracelet, engraved with the words, for the only woman it was ever really meant for. I cried, even after all these years. Because sometimes healing doesn't erase the memory. It just makes peace with it. We danced on the rooftop. Slowly. Alone. No cameras. No clapping crowd. Just us. And the stars. And I whispered in his ear, the same way he once whispered the truth that broke me. Only now, the truth was different. I said, thank you for breaking me, because now I know how whole I can be. He held me tighter and whispered back, thank you for letting me fix what I broke, and for teaching me how to love you right. As the music played, I thought about all the versions of us we had been. The strangers, the lovers, the liars. The forgivers, the fighters. The builders. The parents, and now, the survivors. We went home that night and sat with Ivy and Noah, showed them our wedding photos again, only this time, we told them the full story. No edits. No lies, and they listened. Wide-eyed. Smiling. Because to them, it wasn't a sad story. It was a love story, a real one. Ivy asked, what's the biggest lesson you learned? Ryan looked at me. Then said, that love isn't about the ring. It's about what you do after you drop it. I nodded. And added, it's about who you become after everything breaks. We turned off the lights, tucked the kids in, Ryan kissed my hand, and as I drifted off to sleep, I whispered to the dark, this is the life I said yes to, not the proposal, not the lie, but the truth that came after. And I never looked back again.